Hey guys, it's been a while, been a couple weeks. I've had a couple projects going on. Nothing really finished yet though. I've got a concrete slab I'm going to pour between my house and my garage to make my yard a little nicer and a little bit more enjoyable. So I'm going to go through a little slideshow, show you what I've done and what I'm going to do in another video. So here's my backyard, kind of my in-between backyard. I've got my front yard. This is in between my house and my garage. And I've got another yard back behind my garage where my dog run is. And I've got a couple walkways going from my house to my driveway and my garage to my driveway, but no walkway going between my house and my garage, which is where I usually walk. You can see some boards there with a black mat on them. Because when the wintertime it gets kind of muddy there and I don't want to track the mud in the house. So that was my fix that I've been doing for years. A couple 2x6 with a black mat across it, and you don't have to worry about tracking mud in. But it gets kind of old. So I figured this spring I would get on pouring a nice concrete patio and make it a nicer place all year round. Someplace I could use all year round. So first things first, got to break out the hammer. Get the nice 16-pound sledgehammer and went after the little walkway from the garage to the driveway right there. Just kind of give it a couple whack. There you go. Simple as that. It's all broken up. Not too bad. That couple pieces I had poured when I poured my garage, and it was just a regular pour of concrete, 3.5 inches thick. So I get over to the walkway to the house. The kids' bikes are over here, and it's older concrete, and it's done in 3 different patches, and it's all patchwork together, so it looks like crap anyways. So I get my hammer out and give it a couple whacks, chop. And I realize something. I start beating the hell out of it with the hammer, and I'm like, man, this stuff just isn't breaking up very easy. Well, whoever poured it had poured it 7.5 inches thick. Now, typical concrete is 3.5 inches thick. You put a 2x4 down, and that's your level line. So, yeah, 7.5 inches thick. It took a while to break that stuff up. I was there for hours on hours. And the easiest way I could find to do it was to hit the open edge to send a crack through it, peel some pieces back, keep that open edge to the concrete, break some more off, peel some more back. I think that patio actually took 6 or 7 hours to break up, just enough so that I could move each piece and break it up into a manageable piece that I could pick up. You don't need to pour concrete any more than 3.5 inches thick. If you're going to drive on it, put some remesh in it or rebar, it's fine. 7.5 inches thick. I'm guessing because the date my house was made, it was probably poured right after my house was made. And concrete was pretty cheap back then. It's fairly expensive now. It's $100 a yard, cubic yard. So I don't want to waste a lot of money on extra concrete. I'm not going to pour it twice as thick as it needs to be. But I get it all cleaned up. Get the concrete out of there. And then I started working on the idea how I wanted it to look. And I got some marking paint out, and I kind of drew some lines out and got some stuff figured out. Put some boards up, step back, look at it. Looked pretty good. So I went with the idea, and I've got a main section that's about 30 feet. I think it's 28 feet by 20 feet. Between the house and the garage is 20 feet. It's about 28 feet long. And then 2 walkways, one to the driveway and one to that back gate. And then comes the fun part of leveling it all out It's a lot of work. Where I live, it's mostly clay, so you want to get on it first thing in the spring so it's nice and soft, and then every night when you're done working it, take a hose and just saturate it. Just dump a ton of water on it and let it set overnight. The thing I did with the form boards, I measured it from the house to the form, and then as wide as I wanted the pathways, because my house and my garage are not perfectly parallel. They're off by 6 inches from one side to the other. And after I measured it to make sure it was somewhat straight with the house, I got down and kind of eyeballed that 2x4 from one end to the other all the way to the gate to make sure those two line up. Because when it's all said and done, the concrete's poured, it could be perfectly straight but not look straight, if you catch what I'm saying. If it doesn't look straight, it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to notice it. If it looks straight, you're fine. After I got the corner form pieces put in, I put some screed boards in the middle. The screed boards are what you use to make sure the concrete's level and basically the same thickness all the way across, trying to prevent any areas where water might pool up. It's bound to happen. I'm not a concrete expert. I'm not a concrete company, so I do the best I can. You get the screed boards up and you use another board, in my case a 2x6. I have a couple 2x6 laying around. As you're pouring, you use that 2x6 to kind of go across the top of the 2x4s, and before the concrete sets up, basically after you finish dumping it, this is about 6.5 yards of concrete I'm going to dump. After you finish dumping the concrete, you'll take those screed boards and you'll yank them out of the ground, and then you'll use a 2x6 or a 2x4 to shimmy some concrete around to make it all fill in that little gap where the 2x4 was. And then after that, you'll get back and you'll bull float it from the sides and make it nice and smooth and level and let it set up. So I've got my screed boards in the center there. I noticed it was a little low in some spots, so I went down to the sand and gravel place down the street, picked up a yard of sand, brought it back, dumped it in there. I could have used some of the dirt from around, but the dirt's so hard, just in the last week and a half of the sun being out, it's just made that clay dirt that I live on so rock hard. It's so hard to dig up and break up into pieces. So I went and got sand so it would be easier to level out. And a yard of sand only cost me $44, I believe, $45. So it saved me a little bit of money rather than spending $100 on an extra yard of concrete and then making it stupid thick. So we got that going. As it sits right now, all I need to do is keep some water on it. I keep water on it and keep it from drying out too much, because when you pour concrete, you want a nice moist base. Concrete heats up as it cures. So after you get it all floated out and get it looking nice, you want to wait till that surface sets up so you're not going to put marks in it, and you want to keep spraying water on it, probably 2-3 times a day for a couple days after you pour it while it's setting up. You don't want that concrete to get too hot. You don't want it to dry out too fast. And that's another reason you keep water underneath it, because it'll soak that moisture up from the ground. It'll keep the bottom of the concrete from drying out too fast. So from now until Saturday, I'm going to keep dumping water on it, and we're going to pour it Saturday morning, hopefully. Get it all going. And I'll do a little video, follow-up video on how it looks, show you the finished product. You guys take it easy. Don't forget to hit that like button. Leave a comment if you got any questions or you got a better idea than what I've got going here. Tell me what you think. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and tell your friends. Take it easy, guys. Have fun. Be safe.